The members will take their seats. Visitor retire behind the rail. We're going to get started. Before we start, if anybody has a cell phone or any other device that makes noise, please turn it off. Thank you. To give our invocation this morning, the chair recognizes Pastor Erik Larsen of Pilgrim Church. The pastor is here today as the guest of Councilman Jones. I would ask all members, guests, and visitors to please rise.
Thank you, Council President Clark, and thank you, Councilman Jones. This is an honor. Greetings from Pilgrim Church, set just off Ridge Avenue, up the hill from the Wissahickon Transfer Station in Councilman Jones District 4, zip code 19128. Our members come from Roxborough, Wissahickon, Manayunk, and some suburbs. I also send greetings from the Philadelphia Presbytery, the Presbyterian Church in America, of which we are members, as well as the Northwest Christian Alliance, an informal gathering of pastors and ministry team leads along Ridge Avenue in Roxborough. Each month, we at Pilgrim Church pray for our leaders in government during our worship service by name. The Apostle Paul, in the first century, wrote in his letter to the Romans, "Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. Consequently, whoever rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers hold no terror for those who do right, but for those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from fear of the one in authority? Then do what is right, and you will be commended. For the one in authority is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servants, agents of wrath to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. Therefore, it is necessary to submit to the authorities not only because of possible punishment, but as a matter of conscience. That's also why you pay taxes, for the authorities are God's servants who give their full time to governing. Give to everyone, therefore, what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor. Now, as you're willing and your conscience allows, please join me in prayer to this God. We praise and thank you today, kind Father, that you have granted the people of our region a representative government which seeks to honor both those who honor the law and respond in justice to those who don't. Oversee today's convening of City Council with your eternal arm of justice and your inability to be biased in any way. Give success to the support staff working both here in these chambers and in the offices behind us, the security detail, the sergeant at arms, and others present here to report, record, and respond. I ask you, King Jesus, that these, my neighbors, would by their vows upon entering office know your discerning wisdom today, would speak and vote, if necessary, in humility and grace, assuming the best of each other and the many agencies, courts, corporations, congregations of faith, citizens, and children of this large and growing city, and to speak outside of these chambers with the same humility and grace to constituents, press, and their circle of advisors. I pray especially for our councilpersons' health and their households, as the burdens, which are many, of governing real people in real time often spill into our homes and close relationships. Last, King Jesus, send your Spirit to inform their consciences and bind them together in unity for the sake of this place, that their work be so deeply rooted in what is true, just, and good, that future counselors may build on their work when these are done with their work here. And I pray this in the name above all names, Jesus Messiah. Amen.
Amen. Pastor, thank you so much for those inspiring words. Really appreciate it. Thank you. The next order of business is the approval of the journal of the meeting of Thursday, April 26, 2018, and the chair recognizes Councilman Greenlee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the journal of the meeting of Thursday, April 26, 2018 be approved. Second.
Thank you. It has been second and properly second in the journal of the meeting of Thursday, April 26, 2018. So all stand approved. All in favor will indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, ayes have it, and the journal is approved. Next order of business is request for leaves of absence, and the chair recognizes Councilman Heenan.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the majority, there are no requests of leave of absence today.
Chair thanks the gentleman. The chair now recognizes Councilman O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Republicans, there are no requests for leave of absence.
Chair thanks the gentleman. At this time, I would like to dispense with the regular order of business, and I would like to thank everyone who has come to witness their government in action today. We truly hope that you appreciate your stay here. We hope it is also a very knowledgeable one. So again, thank you so much for being here today. At this time, the chair recognizes Councilman Greenlee, finally, who presented a resolution honoring and congratulating Bill Speedy Morris. With Mr. Morris and those accompanying him, please join the councilman at the podium. And joining Councilman Greenlee, we have Councilman Heenan and Councilman O'Neill.
Finally.
And Councilman Jones. Please proceed, Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. President. In past sessions, we've honored icons in this chamber, and I'd say we're certainly honoring an icon today in the college and high school coaching ranks. While we're honoring Coach Morris on winning 1,000 games, he hasn't stopped since that time. He's now up to 1,009 and still going for next season. So I'm proud to introduce a resolution honoring and congratulating Bill Speedy Morris on winning 1,000 games as a college and high school basketball coach.
Whereas Bill Speedy Morris, a lifelong Roxborough resident, began his coaching career at Roman Catholic High School in 1968. And whereas in his 14 seasons at Roman, Speedy won 6 Catholic League championships and holds the best winning percentage record as a coach in school history. And whereas Speedy, are we going to Bobby? Yeah. He's from Roxborough, so I wanted it all.
Yeah, you're on a roll. That's me.
Whereas Speedy then went on to win the Inter-AC Championship at Penn Charter High School and the League Championship and the NCAA tournament appearance as a LaSalle University women's coach. Whereas he began a 15-year stint at LaSalle's men's basketball coach where he won 238 games, the most in school history, while compiling 4 league championships, 4 NCAA, and the 2 NIT tournament appearances. And
whereas for the last 17 seasons, Speedy has been the head coach at St. Joseph's Prep, where he has won 2 Catholic League titles, 1 4A city championship, and was a PIAA state semifinalist in 2013, while also being the winningest coach in school history. And whereas on Friday, January 12th, 2018, the Prep defeated Lansdale Catholic 63-42 at Kelly Fieldhouse, giving Speedy his 1,000th career victory. Now therefore be it.
Resolved that the City Council of Philadelphia hereby congratulates Coach Bill Speedy Morris on his 1,000 victories as a college and high school basketball coach, and also on the positive influence he has had on so many young people during his illustrious 50-year career. Further resolved that an engrossed copy of this resolution be presented to Coach Morris as evidence of the sincere sentiments of this legislative body. And this resolution, signed by Council President Clark and all members of Council, is particularly sponsored by myself, Councilman Jones, Councilman O'Neill, and Councilman Heenan. Coach, it took us a while to get you in here, but congratulations on your milestone victories. Thank you.
Thank you, President Clark, members of the City Council, Councilman Greenleaf, Councilman O'Neill, Councilman Jones, Councilman Heenan. Thank you for this is a great honor, one I really appreciate and look forward to continue to coach. 50 years is a long time, and you certainly can't do it without a lot of help. That's 1,442 games I coached, and I only missed 3 or 4, so you got to thank God, number one, for giving me the health to coach for 50 years. And then certainly you couldn't do it without great players. I've been inspired to coach so many young people. We're not afraid to make the necessary sacrifices needed to be a winner. Great kids, super kids. I'm indebted to them. And of course, you can't do it without good coaches. I'm not smart enough to win all those games without good coaches. And I've been blessed to have many good coaches. With me right now is my son, Keith, who's associate head coach. Randy Monroe is like a son to me. I coached him at Roman. And then he became head coach at UMBC. That was the team that just beat Virginia, 16-ranked team, to a 1-ranked team first time ever. Well, Randy was the first coach to take that UMBC to an NCAA tournament, and he's back now with me. He coached with me at LaSalle, and now he's back with me at the Prep. And then we got Jim Perella, who's the head JV coach, does a great job, does a lot for me. And Mac Ryan, who is assistant varsity and JV coaches, has been terrific. So I want to thank the coaches for all they've done for me, and I would not be nearly as successful without them. Also, you can't do it without a great wife. And my wife, Mimi, is here. We'll be married 49 years in September. Half of them have been very happy. And just want to say thank you, Mimi. She's my best friend, and thank her for all she does. And finally, I've been at 4 schools: Roman Catholic High School, Penn Charter, LaSalle University, and now St. Joseph's Prep. They've all been great. I've been happy. I loved every one of them. But I'm at Prep now, where it's my favorite school. And I got Brian O'Neill and Councilman Greenleaf, who are graduates of the Prep, and they could tell you what a great school it is. It's meant for others, and we've got a great president, Father Swope, great AD, Dennis Hart, great principal, John Petroselli, and a great public relations director, and Bill Abington, who's here today. So again, I want to thank Council for this award, which I cherish, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Come on down, we'll take a picture. Okay. Down front.
Councilman Bediz. Thank you and congratulations. The next order of business is communications, and the chair requests that the Sergeant of Arms delivers a message from the mayor to the chief clerk. Mr. Decker, please read those messages.
To the President and members of the Council of the City of Philadelphia, I'm pleased to advise you that on May 2, 2018, I signed the remaining bills which were passed by Council at that session on April 19, 2018. And I am submitting herewith for the consideration of your honorable body a resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority to dispose of certain properties located in the 2nd Councilmanic District, which will be transferred by the city to the authority by conveyance of such properties to the Philadelphia Land Bank. And a resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority to dispose of certain properties located in the 5th Councilmanic District, which will be transferred by the city to the authority by conveyance of such properties to the Philadelphia Land Bank. And an ordinance amending Chapter 9200 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Commercial Activities on Streets to establish licensing and other requirements regarding the placement of bicycles and other small vehicles in the public right-of-way for the purpose of rental of such vehicles, authorizing the adoption of regulations in connection with such licensing program, and amending Chapter 12800 of the Code entitled Bicycle Regulations and Penalties to establish parking and related rules for bicycles and other small vehicles, including those used in connection with such licenses, all under certain terms and conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Decker. You have any additional communication?
I have none, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. The next order of business is the introduction of bills and resolutions, and the chair recognizes Councilwoman Reynolds Brown.
No bills or resolutions, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Blackwell.
Thank you very much. I have one privilege resolution I introduce on your behalf and then mine.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thanks.
A privilege resolution hereby proclaiming May 11, 2018 as AAL Day for Temple University's Academy of Adult Learning program that has provided students with intellectual disabilities the opportunity to have a fulfilling and authentic college experience.
And that will be on this week's calendar. Chair recognizes Councilman Greenlee.
Thank you, Mr. President. On your behalf, I offer two resolutions.
Thank you, Councilman.
A privilege resolution honoring, congratulating, and recognizing the Masterman School team for being named world finalists in the Odyssey of the Mind International Competition.
This week's calendar.
And a non-privileged resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Land Bank to dispose of 2201 North 27th Street, 2603 through 51 West Susquehanna Avenue, 2219 through 21 North 27th Street, 2223 North 27th Street, 2225 North 27th Street, 2227 North 27th Street, and 2610 through 16 West Fletcher Street, located in the 5th Councilmanic District.
And that will be on next week's calendar. The chair recognizes Councilman Heenan.
Thank you, Council President. I offer two bills and one privileged resolution signed by all members of council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
An ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Delaware River, Pennypack Street Extended, State Road, Ron Street, Frankfurt Avenue, Academy Road, and Linden Avenue Extended.
For the committee.
And an ordinance amending section 14603 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Use Specific Standards by amending the number of curb cuts permitted for certain zoning districts.
For the committee.
And a privilege resolution recognizing May 13, 2018 to May 20, 2018 as National Police Week in Philadelphia.
And that will be on this week's calendar. Chair recognizes Councilman Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. One privileged resolution.
Thank you, Councilman.
A privilege resolution recognizing and honoring Smith Memorial Playground and Playhouse for providing Philadelphia children and families with a free, open, and safe play space for the past 120 years.
And that will be on this week's calendar. Chair recognizes Councilman Johnson.
Council President, I have three bills and two non-privileged resolutions.
Thank you, Councilman.
An ordinance establishing a no truck parking regulation on both sides of Elmwood Avenue from South 68th Street to South 70th Street.
For the committee.
And an ordinance authorizing the Phillies to construct, install, own, and maintain encroachments consisting of security bollards, permanent operable barricades, and removable barricades with permanent foundations along and adjacent to Citizens Bank Park located at 1 Citizens Bank Way.
Refer to committee.
And an ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land within an area bounded by Packer Avenue, 10th Street, Citizens Bank Way, Patterson Avenue, and Broad Street.
Refer to committee.
And a non-privileged resolution also naming South Street between 23rd and 24th Street, Lois Fernandez Way.
And that will be on next week's calendar.
And a non-privileged resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority to dispose of certain properties located in the 2nd Councilmanic District, which will be transferred by the city to the authority by conveyance of such properties to the Philadelphia Land Bank.
And that will be on next week's calendar. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Keone Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 2 non-privileged resolutions.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
A non-privileged resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Land Bank to dispose of 2860 North Leafgow Street located in the 7th Councilmanic District.
And next week's calendar.
And a non-privileged resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Land Bank to dispose of 2776 through 2778 Emerald Street located in the 7th Councilmanic District.
Also next week's calendar. Chair recognizes Councilman Green.
Thank you, Council President. I do not have any bills or resolutions today.
Thank you, Councilman. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Parker.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 1 privileged resolution.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
A privileged resolution designating May 10, 2018 as World Lupus Day, on which lupus organizations around the world call for an increase in public and private sector funding for medical research on lupus, education programs for health professionals, patients, and the public, and worldwide recognition of lupus as a significant public health issue.
This week's calendar. Chair recognizes Councilman Don.
Morning, Council President. I have 1 privileged resolution co-sponsored by Council members Jones, Heenan, Green, Parker, O, Reynolds, Brown, Bass, and Kim.
Thank you, Councilman.
A privileged resolution recognizing and proclaiming the week of May 6th through May 12th as Public Service Recognition Week in the City of Philadelphia and celebrating all the men and women who have answered the call to serve our city and our communities as government employees.
This week's calendar. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Gimm.
Thank you very much, Council President. No bills or resolutions today.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Chair recognizes Councilman Taubenberger.
Good morning, Council President. I have 1 privileged resolution.
Thank you, Councilman.
A privileged resolution honoring and recognizing the Girl Scouts of America's 106th birthday and their dedication to improving the lives of the children of Philadelphia through character development, gaining leadership experience, and unleashing their inner girl.
This week's calendar. Chair recognizes Councilman O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I offer 2 bills.
Thank you, Councilman.
An ordinance to amend the Philadelphia zoning maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Dunks Ferry Road, the Pocassin Creek, Knights Road, Mechanicsville Road, Medford Road, and Leicester Road.
For the committee.
And an ordinance establishing a no truck parking and tow-away regulation on Black Lake Place from McNulty Road to its terminus further southwardly therefrom.
For the committee. Chair recognizes Councilman Squilla.
Thank you, Mr. President. I offer 1 bill and 1 resolution.
Thank you, Councilman.
An ordinance amending Chapter 9200 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Commercial Activities on Streets to establish licensing and other requirements regarding the placement of bicycles and other small vehicles in the public right-of-way for the purpose of rental of such vehicles.
For the committee.
And a privileged resolution honoring and congratulating the Constitution High School boys basketball team, the Generals, on winning the 2018 PIAA State Championship for the AA classification.
And that'll be on this week's calendar. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Bass.
Thank you, Mr. President. I offer no bills or resolutions this week.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Chair recognizes Councilman O.
Thank you very much, Council President. I offer 1 bill co-sponsored by Council members Bass, Blackwell, Dom, Heenan, Green, O'Neill, and Squilla, and a 2 privileged resolutions, 1 non-privileged resolution co-sponsored by Green, Bass, Heenan, Dom, Quinones Sanchez, Reynolds, Brown, and Gimm. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
An ordinance amending Title 10 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Regulation of Individual Conduct and Activity, Chapter 10800 Safety, by adding a new Section 10840, Criminal and Defiant Trespassers, establishing and clarifying procedures to remove criminal and defiant trespassers from real property.
For the committee.
And a privileged resolution recognizing and honoring Old Pine Street Church on the occasion of its 250th anniversary.
This week's calendar.
And a privilege resolution recognizing and celebrating the 2018 Philippine Independence Week celebration from June 2nd to June 16th.
This week's calendar.
And a non-privileged resolution encouraging the United States Army to locate the Army Futures Command in the city of Philadelphia.
Also on this week's calendar. That concludes our introduction of bills and resolutions. And our next order of business is reports from committee. Chair now recognizes Councilman Heenan for the report from the Committee on Public Property and Public Works.
Council President, can I defer for a moment? I think Councilwoman Ginn wanted the appointed personal privilege.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you very much, Council President. Thank you very much, Majority
Councilwoman
Leader. I apologize. I have council business outside of chambers and would like to be recorded as voting aye on all bills and resolutions.
So noted, Councilwoman. Thank you. Councilman Heenan.
Public Property. Committee on Public Property. What's this? Committee of Public Property and Public Works reports 9 bills out with a favorable recommendation.
Good. 9. Thank you. Mr. Decker, please read that report.
The Committee on Public Property and Public Works, to which is referred Bill number 171084, entitled An Ordinance Authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to acquire fee simple title or a lesser real estate interest to all or a portion of a parcel or parcels of land located in an area, in and about the area bounded by North Broad Street, Noble Street, 13th Street, and the building known as 401 North Broad Street. And Bill number 180011, entitled An Ordinance Amending Chapter 16200 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Sales, Leases, and Other Grants of City-Owned Buildings and Facilities by requiring appraisals as a condition of approval of certain acquisitions and dispositions of real estate. And Bill number 180104, entitled An Ordinance Authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property to convey to the Philadelphia Authority for Industrial Development certain parcels of land situate at 130 West Westmoreland Street with any improvements thereon for further conveyance. And Bill number 180105, entitled An Ordinance Authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property to convey to the Philadelphia Authority for Industrial Development certain parcels of land situated at 3300 North Front Street. And Bill number 180106, entitled An Ordinance Authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the city to enter into a lease agreement with Springdale Associates for use by the city of all or a portion of the premises located at 520 North Delaware Avenue. And Bill number 180177, entitled An Ordinance Authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the city to enter into a lease agreement with Roxborough Development Corporation for use by the corporation of all or a portion of the premises located at 463 through 65 Leverington Avenue. And Bill number 180237, entitled An Ordinance Authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the city to acquire fee simple title or a lesser interest, such as an easement, by purchase, condemnation, or otherwise, in parcels of land along the Delaware River and the Kensington and Tacony Trail, and authorizing an agreement between the city and the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority for the PRA to act as the city's condemnation agent. And Bill number 180239, entitled An Ordinance Authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to acquire fee simple title or a lesser real estate interest to all or a portion of a parcel or parcels of land located in and about the area bounded by Norwich Drive, 67th Street, Essington Avenue, and 70th Street. And Bill number 180350, entitled An Ordinance Authorizing the Commissioner of Public Property on behalf of the City of Philadelphia to acquire fee simple title or a lesser real estate interest to all or a portion of a parcel or parcels of land located in and about the area bounded by Castor Avenue, Loretto Avenue, Elgin Avenue, and Bly Avenue. Respectfully reports it as considered the same and returns the attached bills to council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Decker. Chair, one more time, recognizes Councilman Heenan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the rules of council be suspended as to permit first reading of this day for the 9 bills that were just read into the record by the clerk.
Second.
Thank you. It has been moved and properly seconded that the rules of council be suspended so as to permit first reading this day of bills number 171084, 180011, 180104, 180105, 180106, 180177, 180237, 180239, and 180350. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it, and these bills will be placed on our first reading calendar today. The next order of business is consideration of the calendar. I note that the bills just reported from this committee with suspension of the rules have been deemed to have had a first reading. These bills will be on our second reading and final passage calendar at our next session of council. There are no additional bills on the first reading calendar, and the chair recognizes Councilman Heenan for the purpose of calling up resolutions and bills on the second reading and final passage calendar.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following resolutions and bills are being called up for second reading and final passage calendars today. 180400, 180401, 180404, 180405, 180411, 180305, 180306, 170241, and 180010. All other resolutions and bills are being held.
Thank you, Councilman. Before considering these bills and resolutions that are on the final passage calendar today, we will have our public comment session. It will go as follows. If you are interested in testifying on a bill or resolution that is on the final passage calendar today, if you have not already done so, you may sign up at the table to my left. When your name is called, you will go in the middle of the council chambers. There's a podium. There's a device on that podium. When the light turns green on that device, it will be your time to speak. When the light turns yellow, you will have 30 seconds to conclude your remarks. When the light turns red, we ask that you please adhere to our guidelines and conclude your remarks. Thank you very much for your anticipated cooperation. Mr. Decker, please call the first name.
Joe Denahel, commenting on 180400 and 180404.
Morning. This
Morning.
is an official decree of the people and writ of mandamus quo warranto, and as such requires immediate action remedy. Every week, council, mayor, and others transfer private property to the government, probably illegally. Ironically, last week, council celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Fair Housing Act. I, along with the State Stompers and others that have been made homeless, cry foul. As victims of a RICO-style conspiracy to deny God-given rights, we are aware that the Commonwealth Attorney General's repeated inaction. Since Council Law Department and Attorney General conspire repeatedly to sue the federal government, it is clear that to the sovereign people why no oath violations have been investigated. Since upwards of 100 million federal taxpayer monies are being given to a contractor to build a mall on my stolen home and no permission to transfer the deed lawfully exists, federal government is required to prosecute oath, Constitution, law violators. The Constitutions require immediate remedy of this breach of law, breach of clause, breach of fiduciary duty. Your oath of office requires you to act or face prison. 42 U.S.C. 1982, 1983, 1985, 1986, 1987, 18 U.S.C. 241, 242, 23A1, 23A4. PA Constitution, Article 1, Sections 1 through 11, 26 PA CSA, 703, 705, 708, 709, 712, 713, 716, and other laws listed in SCOTUS 1589-65, 141330, 144056 appear violated. I call for the federal and Commonwealth governments to perform their constitutional obligations, to investigate and prosecute all involved in the theft and the legal deed transfer of my home, 1038 West Wyoming Avenue. The denial of God-given 42 U.S.C. 1982 property rights for 24 years is egregious, extraordinary, oath violating, and requires immediate remedy. A just government must obey the rule of law. This color of law government must have its charter government revoked until a constitutionally compliant government is installed. Public servants cannot refuse their sworn duty to act any more than a fireman can refuse to fight a fire. The sovereign people require oath, Constitution, laws be enforced. Jail is required for all who violate oath, Constitution, or law. I remind Council, it takes a lot of cooperation to create and allow monumental corruption.
Thank you for your testimony.
There are no other speakers on the public comment list, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Decker. We will continue with our calendar. And Mr. Decker, please read the title 180400.
A resolution authorizing the Philadelphia Land Bank to dispose of 1728 Marlton Avenue located in the 3rd Councilmanic District.
Chair recognizes Councilman Green. Oh, this. Councilwoman Blackwell. All right. This for motion.
I move for the adoption of the resolution.
Thank you. It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. Resolution 180-400 is adopted. Mr. Decker, 180-401.
A resolution calling on the United States Congress to release the necessary funding required to dredge the Schuylkill River, which is crucial in maintaining Philadelphia's status as the nation's best competitive rowing city.
Chair recognizes Councilman Jones.
On behalf of City Council's rowing team, and I want you to know and put this out in the universe, we own last place. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
Pretty low threshold, Councilman. It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. And Resolution 180-401 is adopted. Mr. Decker, 180-404.
A resolution calling on Congress to reject the proposal from HUD Secretary Ben Carson, which would triple the minimum rent cost for individuals in public housing, eliminate deductions for medical and child care costs, and allow public housing agencies and property owners to impose work requirements impacting 4.7 million families relying on federal housing assistance.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Parker.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. Resolution 180-404 is adopted. Mr. Decker, 180-405.
A resolution calling on the First Judicial District to develop user-friendly forms to improve access to justice for unrepresented victims of illegal possession of real property and to facilitate an improved process for said victims to be heard by the court to address the rising level of illegal possessions of residential properties and to address the problems with the current system so as to prevent delayed justice and irreparable harm to homeowners.
Chair again recognizes Councilwoman Parker.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. 180-405 is adopted. Mr. Decker, 180-411.
A resolution urging the Pennsylvania General Assembly to amend Pennsylvania's Post-Conviction Relief Act so that reliable evidence of innocence may be considered to prove that a person who is convicted of a crime is, in fact, not guilty.
Chair recognizes Councilman O.
Much, Council President, I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. Resolution 180-411 is adopted. Mr. Decker, 180-305.
A resolution appointing Lynette Brown-So to the Board of Directors of the Philadelphia Municipal Authority.
Chair recognizes Councilman Heenan.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. Resolution 180-305 is adopted. Mr. Decker, 180-306.
A resolution confirming the reappointment of the Honorable Phyllis W. Beck as a member of the Board of Ethics to serve in the term ending November 16, 2022.
Chair again recognizes Councilman Heenan.
Thank you, Council President. Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. Resolution 180-306 is adopted. Mr. Decker, 170-241.
An ordinance granting permission to Houston Small and Deborah Wilson, owners and operators of Tasty Eats food truck located in the right-of-way on the east side of 13th Street between Norris Street and Diamond Street to install, use, and maintain certain electrical wires, conduits, and appurtenances in, under, and over the right-of-way on the east side of 13th Street between Norris Street and Diamond Street for the purpose of supplying electricity to said alleged truck.
Chair recognizes Councilman Greenlee.
Thank you, Mr. President. On your behalf, I move that bill number 170241 be withdrawn.
Thank you. It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, ayes have it. Bill number 170241 is withdrawn. Mr. Decker, 180-010.
An ordinance amending Chapter 19200 of the Philadelphia Code entitled City Funds, Deposits, Investments, Disbursements by amending Section 19201 entitled City Depositories by authorizing the City Treasurer to deposit funds in Fulton Bank National Association.
This bill has been heard on two separate days. The question is, shall the bill pass finally? Mr. Decker, call the roll.
Councilwoman Bass. Councilwoman Blackwell. Councilman Dom. Councilman Green. Councilman Greenlee. Councilwoman Gim is voting aye. Councilman Heenan. Councilman Johnson. Councilman Jones. Councilman O'Neill. Councilman O. Councilwoman Parker. Councilwoman Corona Sanchez, Councilwoman Reynolds Brown, Councilman Squilla, Councilman Taubenberger, Council President Clark.
Aye, the ayes are 17 and nays are 0. Majority of members present voting in the affirmative, the bill passes. Mr. Decker, you have any additional resolutions?
A resolution hereby proclaiming May 11, 2018 as AAL Day for Temple University's Academy of Adult Learning Program that has provided students with intellectual disabilities the opportunity to have a fulfilling and authentic college experience. Introduced by Councilwoman Blackwell on behalf of Council President Clark.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Blackwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, ayes have it. That resolution is adopted.
And a resolution honoring, congratulating, and recognizing the Masterman School team for being named world finalists in the Odyssey of the Mind International Competition, introduced by Councilman Greenlee on behalf of Council President Clark.
Chair recognizes Councilman Greenlee.
Thank you, Mr. President. On your behalf, I move for the adoption of the resolution.
Second. It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. That resolution is adopted.
And a resolution recognizing May 13, 2018 to May 20, 2018 as National Police Week in Philadelphia, introduced by Councilman Heenan.
Chair recognizes Councilman Heenan.
I move for the adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. That resolution is adopted.
And a resolution recognizing and honoring Smith Memorial Playground and Playhouse for providing Philadelphia children and families with a free, open, and safe play space for the past 120 years, introduced by Councilman Jones.
Chair recognizes Councilman Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for its adoption.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it, and that resolution is adopted.
And a resolution designating May 10, 2018 as World Lupus Day, on which lupus organizations around the world call for an increase in public and private sector funding for medical research on lupus, educational programs for health professionals, patients, and the public, and worldwide recognition of lupus as a significant public health issue, introduced by Councilwoman Parker.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Parker.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. Resolution is adopted.
And a resolution recognizing and proclaiming...
Mr. Decker, hold on one second. Councilman, did you want to be recognized? Okay. All right, no problem. Go ahead, Mr. Decker. Sorry.
And a resolution recognizing and proclaiming the week of May 6th through May 12th as Public Service Recognition Week in the city of Philadelphia, and celebrating all the men and women who have answered the call to serve our city and our communities as government employees, introduced by Councilman Dom.
Chair recognizes Councilman Dom.
I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. That resolution is adopted.
And a resolution honoring and recognizing the Girl Scouts of America's 106th birthday and their dedication to improving the lives of the children of Philadelphia through character development, gaining leadership experience, and unleashing their inner girl, introduced by Councilman Taubenberger.
Chair recognizes Councilman Taubenberger.
Council President, thank you, and I want to thank all my colleagues who have unanimously co-sponsored this, and I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. That resolution is adopted.
And a resolution honoring and congratulating the Constitution High School boys basketball team, the Generals, on winning the 2018 PIAA State Championship for the AA classification, introduced by Councilman Squilla.
Chair again recognizes Councilman Squilla.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It's moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. And Councilman Squilla racks up another title.
And I will have some more to introduce next week. Thank you.
And a resolution recognizing and honoring Old Pine Street Church on the occasion of its 250th anniversary, introduced by Councilman O.
Chair recognizes Councilman O.
Thank you. I move for adoption of the resolution.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, ayes have it, and that resolution is adopted.
And a resolution recognizing and celebrating the 2018 Philippine Independence Week celebration from June 2nd to June 16th, introduced by Councilman O.
Chair recognizes Councilman O.
Thank you. I move for adoption of the resolution.
It's Christmas. Let's move and properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, ayes have it, and that resolution is adopted.
There are no other resolutions on the final passage calendar, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Hold on. Take 1 second recess. Okay, thank you. At this time, Chair will recognize Councilwoman Reynolds Brown for a motion to recess.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that council stand in recess.
Okay, Councilwoman, you made your motion. Can we get a second?
Mr. President.
Oh, I'm sorry, you
can
didn't finish?
Please.
Councilwoman?
Yes, thank
Need the
you.
motion again, please.
I move that council stand in recess until the completion of the public meeting of the Committee of the Whole, which is scheduled to convene at 1:30 p.m. today.
Thank you. It's been moved and
1:30
seconded.
p.m. today.
It's been moved and seconded. Council stand in recess until the completion of the public meeting of the Committee of the Whole, which was scheduled to convene at 1:30 p.m. today. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the motion carries. And we will stand in recess until the completion of the public meeting of the Committee of the Whole. Thank you very much. See you back here promptly at 1:30. We will now reconvene today's stated meeting. And that completes our calendar for today. Are there any speeches on behalf of the minority? Thank you very much. And any speeches on behalf of the majority? Councilman Jones, don't do that, sir. Please disconnect the councilman's button. Thank you. There being none, the chair recognizes Councilwoman Reynolds Brown for a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that council stand adjourned until Thursday, May 10th, 2018 at 10 a.m.
Thank you. It's been moved and properly second that the council stand adjourned until Thursday, May 12th, 2018 at 10 a.m. All in favor will say aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you all very much. All right. Yeah.